All right, so here we go. I'm going to show you exactly how I use this to not only gauge my exposure, but my contrast in one simple test strip. Here we go. So the first thing we want to do is gauge an important area of the print. Now, these are typically going to be highlight areas or a highlight area. You want to expose for the highlights, and then we're going to adjust the contrast for the shadows. So we're going to start with a normal or lower contrast filter. In my case here, I started with a number 2 filter. Next, we are going to use f-stop print exposures to make this test strip, and you'll understand why in a little bit. I'm using f-stop printing here because it gives a predictable, proportional way to judge changes in shadow density. You don't need an f-stop timer to use this method. If you have one, it can make test prints a little easier, but it's not required. This works just as well using straight time with a linear timer. Now I'm going to take my test strip printer and I'm going to position it on the clock where I want the highlights to be dialed in. That's a very important highlight, and that's going to be key to getting my exposure correct. And I'm going to aim for the exposures to be in my middle section 16 seconds. And then I'm going to do one stop below that in third stop increments and one stop above that in third stop increments. So this is going to give me an 8-second exposure, a 10.1-second exposure, a 12.7-second exposure, a 16-second exposure, a 20.2-second exposure, a 25.4-second exposure, and finally a 32-second exposure. So I'm going to develop, stop, and fix this test print. Then I'm going to wash it, dry it, and evaluate it. And I want to evaluate, again, the highlights on the clock. I want those to be my focus, not really looking at anything else at this point. And it looks to me like the 12.7-second exposure at a filter of 2 gives me really good highlights. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is look at the shadows in that 12.7-second exposure. And they look a little weak. There's no real blacks. The contrast is lacking. So if I look to the left where I gave it more exposure, I can see the blacks getting darker. That means that this will need more contrast. Each 1/3 stop exposure is going to increase the blacks by a half grade of contrast. So if I'm going over to 3 steps over, that means I want to go from a grade 2 to a grade 3.5 to print this image and get the correct contrast. But I also want to keep the highlights correct. Now, depending on your equipment and materials, small exposure changes may be required to maintain the proper highlight exposure. You can easily test and calibrate your system to maintain highlight exposure through the contrast range by testing for a zone 8 highlight. And then you can make a chart and factor system so you know the compensation you're going to need from one filter to the next. So the factor doesn't come from the filter number themselves. It comes from the difference in exposure time needed to reach the same highlight density with different filters. So in this instance, I will use the 3.5 filter for the contrast I'm after, and then base the highlight exposure off the 12.7-second exposure. Now, to keep my highlights consistent, I will need to apply a factor. My factor was 1.75 seconds. So I know based on my testing, I need approximately 1.75 times more light to maintain my highlight or zone 8 density from grade 2 to grade 3.5. And I will multiply that by the 12.7 seconds, which is going to give me an exposure time of 22.2 seconds. So now I can simply print this picture at a 3.5 filter at 22.2 seconds. And as you can see here, my highlights are exactly where I want them, and my shadows are exactly where I want them. Contrast is perfect, exposure is perfect. One test strip. I want to point out too that the contrast should be calibrated for accuracy, meaning you need to know what filter corresponds with what grade for your papers. But I've found too that even if they're a little bit off, you will just over time kind of be able to judge, okay, this should be this contrast and I need that filter. And you can kind of calibrate these things over time just by using your materials over and over. So I would recommend sticking with the same paper and same developer, getting to know how your filters change the contrast, or you could go do a deep dive and figure out exactly what filter is giving you what exact grade. Just be aware that certain filters and papers combinations are going to be less linear than others. So a number 2 filter might not and most likely won't give you, say, a strict grade 2 contrast. So this is hands down my most preferred way of doing test strips for exposure and contrast. Well over 90% of the time, I use a very targeted test strip like this. I just find it so much more valuable because there's always going to be a subject or something in the scene that you want to make sure everything else is based off of. And it's usually you want to get a highlight, or you want to get, you know, a person or something. And targeting these areas with a test strip just makes so much more sense than doing a broad test strip across the whole thing, because you're getting a whole lot of information that it's not only, it can be confusing for one, and it's unnecessary, and you're not getting information about the areas you need. On top of that, it can be wasteful. That's not to say I don't use full sheets and do test strips like that. At times they can be very, very useful. I know I've done some in my other videos, and for the right negative, you got to kind of choose the right tool for the right job. And if you're interested in this little test printer here, I use this. It's a highlight or targeted area test printer, and they are now available in limited quantities. So if you're interested, you can get more info at the link below. And also, if you want to check out more darkroom printing, don't miss this video right here.